A politician's biggest fear is election year. Your biggest advantage is the fact that it's also an election year. What they did in the past 4 years, especially the 3 years where they felt like they had immunity, it is your time to decide whether they should keep having that same immunity, not care about you, talk to you anyhow, do anything at all, and then in the fourth year come and pound fufu for you, and then you are silly enough to just say, because of fufu, this is a humble person. Are you voting for somebody who is humble, or you are voting for someone who will do a job for you? If it's about humility, then maybe children should be in office, because children in Ghana really know how to say please. Oh, mpacho you. Oh, yes, please. Oh, yeah. You see? Then anybody who says please should be in parliament. No, it is about people who are qualified to do a job for you. Now, I don't care. I don't care about politics. I don't care who you're going to vote for. I don't care which government will come after December 7th. I don't care whether your MP remains in office or not. It's up to you. I really don't care what you do. And I don't care about politics. If I don't care, it doesn't affect me, right? Well, today on I Don't Care, I'm going to talk about an interesting topic I've titled, What Politicians Fear the Most. It stems from the fact that we've been talking about accountability. As always, on I Don't Care, I brought my big book I'll be reading from. Now, in plain language, let's start with this. There's an adage, or it's not, there's a statement that says, power tends to corrupt. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So now you have MPs and the president you voted for. His tenure of office is usually 4 years. It's always mostly 4 years, if all other things being equal. Now, in these 4 years, there are 3 years where he feels immutable, where he feels any or everything you say cannot affect him because you voted for him and he's in office doing his job. So because we are in a democracy, nothing you do affects him in a sense. Even if you demonstrate, you have to demonstrate and then he sides with you that indeed what you're saying is true. Besides that, there is pretty much nothing you can do. So it's all about immunity or immutability that they feel for 3 years. However, in the fourth year, they realized that Icarus might have flown too close to the sun. In the fourth year, they realize that, oh, they are human after all, because they have to come back to you to secure your votes so they can go 3 more years of immunity, and 1 year where they do so is a wash, rinse, repeat. Let me contextualize that. In a traditional system, for the first 3 years, they are pretty much gods, because you can't do anything to a god. The god decides for you. So they are gods who decide for you how things should work, when it will rain, when it shouldn't rain, when you should be happy, when you should be sad, when there should be curfew, when you should freely go out about, where the prices of commodities, the prices of the exchange rate, it's all up to them. But then in the fourth year, as gods, they come and they are looking for a man who will sacrifice for them. So they have specific things they want you to sacrifice, and they are looking for specific people to give that sacrifice. Why? Because it's by that sacrifice that their power is re-energized and they continue to do what they do. What is that sacrifice? Your thumb. I do not mean you're going to cut your thumb. No, I mean you're going to go to a polling station and then stick your thumb next to the face of someone on a piece of paper. And in essence, whoever gets most sticks is in charge of us for the next 4 years. A politician's biggest fear is election year. A politician's biggest fear is election year, because even though absolute power has corrupted absolutely, in election year, that power can be wiped away or it can continue. So for 3 years, they don't care. more than me who doesn't care. That's why I have a show. I don't care. But then in the fourth year, they realize that they care so much because if they do not care about you, you will not care to vote for them. Let's break down why they fear election year. They fear mostly because they feel they might be voted out. They feel whether he has done a good job, whether he did a terrible job, which most of them do, they feel they could be voted out. Now, if I'm, the questions now start to stem in their head. If I'm voted out, how will I survive? Yes, for the past 3 immutable years, like I'm saying, he's been earning taxpayers' money. Number one, he has a standard, he has a constant salary, a salary that's above most people's salary. He has access to free healthcare. He has access to security. He has access to so many things because you put him in power. So he begins to think, even the job I was doing before I became a politician, is it a job I can go back to now that I've tasted that amount of power? Can I go about my daily life like I used to go about as a normal citizen of the country now that I'm out of power? Because I've peaked at knowing what greatness or what that feeling of power tastes like. How will I survive? How will I make money? Even the money I might have stolen could finish. How will I make, like, how will I survive? That's number one. Number two, will I ever come back to power again? They begin to think, okay, if I'm voted out, what if the other person sets out to do better and actually does better than I ever did and people keep him in power? Will I ever come back? That is one of their biggest fears. That's why they want to stay in office constantly till they are ready to retire. Will I ever come back? The third one is, will I be prosecuted for my illegal deeds? So I'm not saying all of them do wrong things, but those who did illegal things whilst in office, those who abuse the powers of their office, if I am voted out, what if it comes to light? Will I survive these illegal deeds I did? Because of that, they begin to think, no, I have to stay in office to protect myself and my family. They also think, if I'm voted out, come 4 years, will I still have enough money to seek a re-election? So whatever I was doing, now I have to survive on whatever I've gained. But come 4 years, do I have enough money for a campaign? Do I have enough money to go about? Do I have enough money to pay for those bribes I've been paying people, from delegates to voters in the communities to media men to people who should campaign for me? Will I have enough money for campaign if I do not stay in office and acquire more wealth? Will I still be relevant? If you are the MP, of course you are relevant. If you are president, of course you are relevant. We all want to hear from you all the time. We want to know how the nation is going. People are talking about you every day. You've done this, you've done that. Do this for us, do this. You are relevant. Now, in a case where now nobody really cares about you, the radio stations are not thinking about you. When we are doing speech and prize, we are looking at the current MP, not the former MP. When we are calling on people to cut sword and all that, we are looking for the current MP, the current president. No one cares about who was MP 5 or 4 years ago. Will I still be relevant? I've written a lot, but I'm going to skip like things. I've talked about things like when you are in office, whenever there is even a deal. So you realize there are things that come out where we hear about the fact that people have received contracts and deals that were sole sourced that nobody else heard about, but somehow they heard about it, they applied, and they qualified for it. So they begin to think, this my business that has been sailing very well in these 4 years because I had access to everything that's happening and what they need, and I could form a company quickly and even apply. Will I have that same information? If it's not my government in power, will I even know about it? So let's stick to the first five. These first five are some of the reasons why I'm saying that politicians fear election year the most. It is a big fear. And now this fear will move them to do certain things in election year, that the first 3 years, that, remember, I'm saying that the first 3 years they enjoy immunity because we are in a very good democracy. Now, this fear from these things I've talked, how will I survive? Will I be relevant? Will I be prosecuted for my illegal deeds and stuff like that? It will move them to do certain things to seek your re-election or to gain your favor so you vote for them. It is first of all because of these fears that a lady who we all know will vanish for 3 years, live in another country, whilst her constituents ask her where she is. You do not hear from her. You only see her on TikTok, dancing and praising the Lord. And out of nowhere, she comes back, comes to share fun nice, does an apology video, and then goes to seek for your re election. When these fears start coming, they start seeing things from a different perspective, and then it moves them to do certain things they otherwise wouldn't have done. Now, these fears I have mentioned is the reason why the MP you didn't see for 3 years, didn't care about, you went about your daily life, will appear in your house to help you pound your fufu. Will come banku, should I say drive your banku, will come and braid hair in your house, will come and shake your hand, will come and ask how your father and mother are doing, will come and give you money for those in the hospital in that moment, and then ask for your re-election because it is an election year. He's scared you might vote him out. It is these same fears that will drive a president who told us that he was a dead goat. In essence, he didn't care what people were going to say, to now reassess and reevaluate and then come back and tell us, call media men that come and ask me questions because now I care. I want to show you people that I care. I want to show you that I have done my homework. So I am going to do a better job. So come, even though at first I didn't care about you or what you had to say or the questions you had, now I do care. And I'm going to give you a roadmap on what exactly I'm going to do. It is because of these fears, this fear of election year, this fear of seeking, of not gaining re-election. It is this same fear of these things I have talked about that will let a government in power who has had 8 years come to you and then tell you, compare themselves to a government that was in power 9 to 16 years ago, and then tell you, look out for their shortfalls in those periods, and then still hammer on it that it now is better than what was happening then. So they are trying to get you angry enough to remember why you voted that government out, forgetting that the past 8 years, seven, right down to the last year, have been more important than what happened 9 to 16 years ago. It is these same fears. It is this same fear that you call a politician who has never picked your call in the past 3 years. In the fourth year, either he will call you first, or when you call him, he will pick up. Oh, I need money for this. Oh, done. I need to do this. Done. Can you appear? I've built, what do you call it? A shed in my house, or I've bought a new generator. I need someone to commission it. He will be there. The irony is the fact that the politician has found his fear, and as such, he is working to avoid that fear. But you do not know that you can use that fear to your advantage. Now that he has come, it is now that you've caught him in your house, it is your time to tell him that, okay, you set out to do this, that. You didn't do it because of that. I am boldly telling you, I will not vote for you. It is that time you tell him that you did this, and that, but he's left with this. So, because of that, I'm going to give you another chance. Or if you are like me, It's that time that when it comes, you listen, because I actually like to listen. Maybe he will give a good explanation why he didn't do that. Or maybe now he's going to give me a roadmap of he has reassessed that these things he said he was going to do, he couldn't do it. But now he's coming with this, and with this, he will be able to achieve it. So you listen and then make judgment. Ebe boame. Yes. Boame. No, no, I'm not voting for you that day. Use that fear of the politician to your advantage. This is the question that comes. Oh, but if I don't vote for him and I go and vote for another person, politicians are the same. Yes, politicians are the same because voters have been the same. They know when they come and tell you whatever they like, you will still vote for them because from childhood, your family votes for one specific party. From childhood, since childhood, this area votes for one specific party. So he won't change. But if we come to a place where the people realize that if you don't work, we vote you out. If you don't work, we vote you out. Everybody who comes into office will now make sure he works. Otherwise, he will be voted out. So stop thinking that they are all the same. When I do it, nothing will change. No, something will indeed change. They will start working for you when they know that you take accountability in high regard. I say all this to say this. A politician's biggest fear is election year. Your biggest advantage is the fact that it's also an election year. What they did in the past 4 years, especially the 3 years where they felt like they had immunity, it is your time to decide whether they should keep having that same immunity, not care about you, talk to you anyhow, do anything at all, and then in the fourth year come and pound fufu for you. And then you are silly enough to just say, because of fufu, this is a humble person, I must vote for him. Are you voting that for somebody who is humble, or you are voting for someone who will do a job for you? If it's about humility, then maybe children should be in office because children in Ghana really know how to say please. Oh, mpacho you. Oh, yes, please. Oh, yeah. You see? Then anybody who says please should be in parliament. No, it is about people who are qualified to do a job for you. So I end this by saying this. Like I said, I say all this to say this. If the politician's biggest fear is election year, then your biggest advantage is that election year. Whatever, and it mainly has to do with your thumb. Whatever you want to do with this information is up to you because, like always, I really don't care.